Math 1, first semester final review, Unit 2. Number 21, each table contains some points on a particular graph. State which table could be a function or could not be a function. So when I'm checking to see if there are functions, x is only allowed to be represented by one y. So if the x's don't repeat, then it's definitely a function. So I look here, the x's don't repeat, so that could be a function. The x's do not repeat, so could be a function. X's do not repeat, so it could be a function. Oh, here the x's repeat, so you have 1 being represented by 4 and 1 being represented by 5. That would fail the vertical line test because x is being represented by two different y's, so that's a not. Okay, moving on to number 22. So Malik and Nora are playing a video game. Malik starts with m points and Nora starts with n points. So we want to be able to set these two equal to each other. So we have Malik and Nora starts with m and n points. Then Malik gets 150 points. So we'll just add 150 points to Malik's score, while Nora loses 50 points. So we'll subtract 50 from Nora's original points. Finally, Nora gets a bonus and her score is doubled. Nora now has 50 more points than Malik. So if we want to make these two equal, we either have to subtract 50 from Nora, or I think it might be easier just to add 50 points to Malik. So now their scores are equal. Since Nora ended with 50 more points, if we give Malik 50 points, they would then be equal. So to simplify this, we could simply say that it's m plus 200 equals, I'll move the 2 up front just to make it look more like what we normally do. And if we want to get m by itself to find out maybe how many points Malik has, we could subtract 200 from both sides and we could say Malik has 2 times Nora minus 50 plus, or minus 200. Okay, moving on to number 23. For each of the sequences, find the explicit and the recursive formula. Okay, so starting here, the explicit first. The explicit formula is a of n equals the first term, or negative 8, plus n minus 1 times the common difference, which in this case is plus 3. The recursive formula is, you always write down the first term, so we write a of 1, the first term, equals negative 8, comma, and then a of n equals the previous term, or a of n minus 1, plus the common difference of 3. Okay, so that is for A. I should have wrote a little smaller, but I'll just do B down here. Okay, for the explicit formula for B, first I should check out and see what's the common difference. The common difference is minus 4 here. So the explicit formula is a of n equals the first term, which is 7, plus n minus 1, remember that's a number, not a term, times negative 4. And now the recursive formula for B is, we always write down the first term, so a of 1 equals 7, and then comma, a of n equals the previous term, or a of n minus 1, plus the common difference, or in this case, minus 4. Okay, moving on to number 24. For the sequence defined by f of n equals 2n minus 5 for n greater than or equal to 1, list the first 6 terms of the sequence. Okay, so if the first term is n equals 1, we would start with f of n equals 2 times 1, which is 2, minus 5, which is negative 3. The second term would be 2, so 2 times 2 is 4, minus 5 is negative 1. And in this case, let's see, we're at 3, so 2 times 3 is 6, minus 5 is 1. And at 4, 2 times 4 is 8, minus 5 is 3. And at 5, 2 times 5 is 10, minus 5 is 5. And for the sixth term, 2 times 6 is 12, minus 5 is 7. So you can see our common difference here is 2, and our first term, a of 1, is negative 3. So for the sequence, determine the recursive formula. So we always start the recursive formula with a of 1, the first term, which is negative 3, and then a of n would equal a of n minus 1, the previous term, plus 2 in this case. For the sequence, the explicit formula is a of n equals the first term, which in this case is negative 3, plus n minus 1 was just a number, times the common difference, which is 2. All right, moving on to number 25. The height of the height of the water level in a tank is 200 inches on day 1. Okay, so let's draw a little picture. Here it is at 200 inches. I know I drew that small. The water level increases at a constant rate of 3 inches every day. So it'll go up by 3 inches every day. So this is our initial value. This is our rate of change, or our common difference. Okay, h of t equals the height of the water level after t days. H of 1, that's our initial value, or our first term, is 200. Write a recursive formula for t is greater than or equal to 2 that describes the height of the water level, h of t, on the t, or nth day we usually say, but tth day, I guess, days in terms of height of the water level at the same time on the previous day. So basically what they're asking for is a recursive formula. So in a recursive formula, we always write the first or initial value, which in this case was 200, and then h of t equals h of t minus 1 plus 3, the common difference. Okay, moving on to number 26. Okay, Carla borrowed $18,000 to start a business. Her business earns averaged $750 per week for the first 10 weeks. Carla's balance, Y, in any week X is equal to her total earnings minus the amount she borrowed. Select as few of quadrants as possible that would allow you to create a graph of Carla's balance over her first 20 weeks. All right, so let's do this down here. So basically what we're saying is Carla's balance Y equals her weeks in X. So well, we know that she's going to earn $750 per week. But the problem is Carla borrowed $18,000, so she's actually in the negative. That's her initial value. So if we think of this as this is where she started, in the hole $18,000, but she's earning $750 per week. So if we were to graph this, this would be her y-intercept. It would be way down here at $18,000, negative 18, but she's earning money, so she's going up, probably not quite this fast, but so what you can hopefully see is the graph of her growth would be from in quadrant 4 and 1.